Hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1, 2. My name is Troy White. I'm a portfolio manager with Hoodoo financial planner, investment advisor, investment manager. I wear various hats depending on what your needs are. Today, I want to talk to you about something. And I don't want to sound like a naysayer, but just bring in some information to you that may be somewhat alarming to you and discouraging even, but I want to encourage you at the same time. So what I'm talking about is 401ks and the stock market. Specifically 401k, not so much the stock market. Stock market is one of my is my area of study, right? I have a master's degree in financial analysis and investment management. So one of the fun things for me is to do an analysis on a company and do a valuation to see what their stock price should be, and follow the stocks and see where it goes, how it goes. One of my longtime specialties from a professional standpoint is mortgage-backed securities. Been in that area for several years, and I can tell you almost everything. I'm sure there's various aspects about mortgage-backed securities that I don't know. You can never know everything about some specific thing, but I'm very close to that. So basically my interests merge from real estate and stock market, and I know they are interconnected. So with that mindset, this is why I'm talking to you and where I'm coming from on what I'm about to talk about. So I want to talk about 401ks. And in our society right now, there is a retirement crisis because people do not have enough saved in their 401ks to retire comfortably, adequately, or at all. So what I want to do is back up a little bit and tell you about a 401k. Now, 401k is really just a tax code, and it was not invented to be what we know of right now as 401k. There's a guy, I don't remember his name, some tax dude, and he, was going through the tax codes, and he identified that Section 401k, Section 401, Item K in the tax code can be used in a unique way. That code allows us to create accounts that have tax deferred status. We could hold investments in accounts and utilize that tax code and grow the investments that are in there tax deferred. That is all it is. Now so what happened is the financial services industry created accounts that allow you, or not even that allow you, that are specifically segregated so that you can utilize the tax benefit that is Section 401k of the tax code. I mean, you could hold the stuff in your hand in any account, but the tax code is what it is. So customarily over the time, we have come to call the account a 401k account, because that account is intended to take advantage of the tax code 401, code 401, section K in the tax code. All right. When this tax laws devised that, people had pensions. People worked jobs and received pensions. And at that time, when you get a job, you probably gonna stay in that job, especially a good job, right? So when you get a good job, you're gonna stay there. You're gonna do what they say for 30 years, and then they're gonna give you a pension. That's how the world used to work. And so Section 401k allowed people with pensions to save more. And that more amount would supplement their income in retirement. But a pension was a defined benefit program. But what that is a burden on the company, because the company still has to pay you after you owed and no longer working there. So companies started saying, hey, we can make more money if we chop these workers off and stop paying them after they don't even work here no more with this pension. We could just, if we contribute to a 401k instead of doing a pension, which is a defined benefit. That means we define that we're going to pay you 80, 90, whatever the percentage of your income for the rest of your life till you die. And remember, people used to die, I think it's like 5 years after you retire. But now people don't die 5 years after you retire. You die hella years after you retire. So them pensions, they didn't anticipate that. So them pensions start becoming a serious burden. Now, people living 20 and 30 and 40 years after retirement. So the company is really saddled with this debt. They can't operate profitably and so on and so forth. So companies switched from providing pensions to providing 401ks. Now, remember what I said. A 401k was supposed to be supplemental to your pension. So you would get that defined benefit. You're going to get that $2,000 a month, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, whatever it is. Plus all that you saved, you don't even have to dip into that until you're 70 and a half years old. So if you retired at 62, you make it 8 years, you don't even have to start taking from your 401k yet. So it's going to grow to a larger amount, and then that's going to supplement your income. And then actuarial accounting shows that you probably going to die anyway pretty soon, but that's not happening no more. So that's why we have a retirement crisis now, because people, us regular citizens, didn't start saving into 401ks at the age of 20 and up until the age of 67. So for 47 years, theoretically, you should be investing in your 401k to the maximum, and you should be getting a match from the employer, and you should be getting and during those 47 years, up until you're about 40 years old, you should be an aggressive investor. And then once you hit about 45 to about 55, you become a moderate investor, which means you select specific stocks in your portfolio, your 401k, that are not as aggressive. So they have a certain They have certain characteristics that, we could go over maybe in another video that makes people like me identify that as a moderate investment. And then once you pass about 55, you are supposed to become a conservative investor, and the stocks inside your 401k account or your portfolio you should now switch all of those investments to more conservative, and more specifically, the ratio of stocks to bonds shifts to more bonds, less stock. Whereas when it was aggressive in your earlier years, it was more stocks, less bonds. In your moderate, that there's a nearly 50-50 split, and the stocks are less aggressive. So this is the concept of how retirement is supposed to work, and in a 401k plan. But the reality is that you don't start investing from age 20, and you're not getting a match from your employer all of that time. And you don't know the right selections of investments, meaning what stocks to select inside your account that are aggressive. And you don't know how to change to a moderate portfolio when you become a certain age. And you don't know what to do as you get older and become more conservative. So none of that is happening to some people. Some people got it like that. Some people were on top of things. But the vast majority of American people were not doing that, did not start at that time, and do not know the minutia that I'm telling you right now. They don't know these particulars, and they don't know what to do. So what happens is, most people, you start investing in a 401k around 26, 7, 8, maybe 30. And then when you leave that job, you cash out that 401k until you get another job. And then you invest in there. You got your 401k you have no idea really what the investments are that are in there. You checked a box on the form. And when you left that job, you cashed out that 401k until you got your next job. And people nowadays have 7 career changes. So you might have 7 significant jobs. So if you do that 7 times, then you do that same scenario. You've cashed out your 401k 7 times, then that means you will start to approach retirement and you have not accumulated much in your account. So a 401k is now intended to replace your income source in retirement when you can no longer work. But what happens if you didn't start doing the good way, meaning investing at 20, getting the match, doing the perfect investments, monitoring them, working with the professional, and building your assets until it is above $1 million or so dollars? What happens then? Okay, and then what about let's say most people have less than $100,000 in their 401k, but let's say you did pretty good and you feel good. You're about to retire tomorrow, right? Let's say you got $400,000 in your account. You feeling mighty good, right? Okay, but let's say you were only making, I should pull out my calculator too. Let's say you was only making $50,000 a year. And somehow you manage to accumulate $400,000 though. That's why I say I should pull out my calculator, because that's unlikely. But let's say that's what it is. You previously made $50,000 a year. Your bills and your lifestyle are a $50,000 a year bills and lifestyle. And now that you got more time, you plan to do more things in retirement. So it might exceed 50, but let's say 50. Okay, so you got $400,000 and you're retired, meaning you ain't gonna be working no more. There's no more income. This 401k is your income replacement, and you got $400,000. Okay, so you better die in 8 years. Well, you ask, so then you say, well, what you telling me that for, man? Why should I die in 8 years? Because I just did the math in my head. 50,000 times 8 equal 400. So you got 8 years to live, or you're homeless because you got no more money. So you telling me you done saved and invested all your life, all your working time. You diligently did that. And now you got $400,000, and you better hurry up and die. That ain't good. But so you retire at 67. So what's that? What's 8 years? 67 plus 8, that's 75. You better die at 75. That's not good. That's not good. Modern medicine will keep you alive even if you don't want to stay alive. And they'll charge you for it though. And so if they keep you alive past 75, you might be homeless out on the street. So you start to see, there's a problem here. And so what I'm saying is a 401k was never intended to be your primary. It was never intended to replace your income. It was meant to supplement your pension. But we don't get pensions no more. Now, here is some interesting information. To have your resources last your entire lifetime, you will be able to withdraw 5%, roughly 5% per year, because hypothetically, you are still receiving a return. And if you followed that other strategy I said, that conservative at retirement thing, conservative really means something like around 3% return. Well, inflation is 3%. So that means you're making nothing. That just means that money is about to run out. But let's hypothetically say you were still invested in the market and you're still receiving a return of approximately 7 to 9% in the stock market. Then in that scenario, you could withdraw at a rate of approximately 5% per year and not run out of money. So what's 5% of 400,000? 20,000. Let me see, 400,000 times 0.02. No. No. Let me do that math again, man. 400,000 times 0.05 equals, oh yeah, that's 20,000. That's 20,000. So if you could live off of, if you've accumulated 400,000 in your 401k, then you could, but you remember you had a $50,000 a year life. If you could retire and live off $20,000 a year, you'll be all right. But how could you accumulate 400,000 if you only had 50,000 a year? Because you're only saving like 3% of your income into your 401k. Let's say you was doing 5% of your income per year, and you make 50,000 times 0.05. That's $2,500 a year. You're tucking $2,500,000 a year. If you did that every year for 30 years, you worked at this job, I'll tell you exactly what you would have. 2,500 is the present value, and you're going to put, what's 2,500 divided by 12 months? That's roughly $200, right? So let's just call it $200 a month. Bam. And let's say you was receiving a return of, let's call it 7%, and 30 years is 360 months. At the end of that time, when you retired, you would have $264,285.44. So, of that $264,285.44, you could retire with $13,214 a year. So what's that per month? Divide that by 12. So you get $1,101 a month. Can you live off $1,101 a month? $1,101 and 18, more like 19 cents. That's why I'm telling you, this was meant to supplement your retirement. Supplement your pension, because your pension, if you worked for 30 years, you was going to get like 80% of your income, maybe even 90% at some job. And they would have just kept paying you that till you die. And then you would have had this G on top of that. So now you start to see where we got a problem. Because you didn't even do that. You ain't even been saving all this whole time. So this is just an average person. So what are we to do? You need to replace your income. So you need to change your mindset and understand that a 401k is great. The stock market is great. But assuming that is going to be everything you need for retirement is a plan for failure. So what are we to do? You're going to have to involve yourself in entrepreneurship and real estate investing. Hey, it might be something else that you could do. I don't know what it is. And I'm highly educated in finance and investment. It might be something else you could do, but I don't know what it is. I'm highly educated in business management, business administration. It might be something else, but I don't know what it is. I'm highly educated in financial analysis and financial planning. It might be something else you could do if you're in this scenario in retirement, but I don't know what it is. If you do, let me know. I know 2 things you're going to have to do. You're going to have to invest in real estate, and you're going to have to be an entrepreneur. So start gearing your life up. Start filling your mind with the education that's going to be required. Start learning the tools and the techniques and the strategies that you're going to have to employ to achieve financial freedom such that will allow you to retire. So first off, you're going to have to just change your mind, change the brain. So let me just dive into why. So what you're going to have to do is real estate. I made a few notes on, these old notes, but I just flipped to the page. I said, that's what I'm going to talk about today, because this was been on my mind, is the 401k trap. And I'm not against the 401k. That's what I want to see. That's why I don't want to come across as if I'm saying this is a bad thing. The bad thing is the way this has migrated into our consciousness as the way you gonna retire. It's not the way you gonna retire. It's the way that you gonna have something, but you're gonna have to do more lifting than that. That weight right there ain't getting you buffed. The amount of weight you're doing, you just playing around. You're not even breaking a sweat. That's what I'm saying. And when you're investing in your 401k, you're not even breaking a sweat. That ain't gonna help you. If you're in a bad financial condition, you got to, hey, no pain, no gain. You got to do it. You're gonna have to get into real estate and or entrepreneurship. I'm also including your dive into real estate as an entrepreneurial endeavor. So, but I also mean, open a restaurant, open a laundromat, open a check cashing. I'm just the things are endless. Open a Metro store, open a Verizon or something store. Something you gotta do something. But what you can't do is end up homeless because you sat around and heard what I'm telling you and then disregarded it and then hit retirement where you don't, and then lived pretty for a minute and then ran out of money. You never engaged with a financial planner to map out how is your retirement going to be. You never mapped it out. Never thought about it. You just saw this big amount of money. Oh, I got hundreds. You saw them hundred thousands in your account. Oh, it's on. Man, there's so many ups and downs of the market that could and one thing that most people do is buy high, sell low. So you see yourself with 400,000 and then you hear the market crashes and you're like, oh, I'm getting out. You pull all your money out the stock market. Okay, now you're a loser. That was the wrong thing to do. Should have bought more. So anyway, that's a whole nother story. So the reason that you need to engage in real estate is because we need to take advantage of the power of leverage using OPM, other people's money. So I could pay a little bit, combine a lender's a lot of bit, and I can buy an asset that is going to continuously generate an income for me. And as long as it's generating enough to pay the loan and the expenses, the extra is in my pocket. That is what you have to do. And so if you need to replace your $50,000 per year, then that means you're gonna have to do real estate investing. You need to purchase income. Now, there's so many other social benefits to you doing this. And for us, if you do this, but for you specifically, it's going to prevent you from being homeless. It's going to prevent you from being cold in the winter. It's going to prevent you from being hungry. It's going to allow you to live a nice life in your older years and enjoy the time that you do have left, because our lives are finite, if you didn't remember that. All right, so $50,000 a year divided by 12 months. So you need $4,166 worth of income. So if you have, let me divide that by 200, that's 20. Why did I divide it by 200? Because let's say worst case scenario, I buy investment property. If you can get $200 of income, it's worth doing it. Every door you invest in, if you can get $200 a month, It's gravy. That means the tenants are paying for the asset for you. They're buying you this building, this house, this multi-unit, whatever the case is, plus putting $200 in your pocket. So if you can achieve that one goal by one property that gives you $200, then you could do it twice. If you could do it 3 times, then you can do it 20 times. You need 20 doors. You need 20 doors to replace your income. So what if you was to buy one investment property per year? That'd take you 20 years. Well, what if you was to get 3 investment properties per year? That's roughly 6.9 years. So, and things happen. Once the ball get rolling, it's a snowball effect. So yeah, you got one the first year, second year you didn't get one, third year you got one, fourth year you got 3, third year you got 5. Fourth year, fifth year, so on and so forth. I'm just saying you can start acquiring more as you picking up skills and abilities to do that. So then let's say you get those 20 doors and then you say, I need more than the 50 G's. Well, now you got assets, and in your retirement, while you old and frail, you might need to sell one of them buildings, cash out. That thing might appreciate in value, $100,000. Sell it. You still got 19 more doors. When you sold it, say it appreciated, you got $100,000 in your pocket. Hey, how about you keep 70, take 30 and put that down on another property? That's another $200 in your pocket every month. And the tenants are buying it for you. And you old and frail. And this is part of legacy investing. This is not dying before we run out of money. This is investing in such a way that you generate an income, and that income is accumulating assets for you. So at all times you are investing in the stock market, growing those assets. As those assets grow, you chop off some and use that as a down payment on more income producing properties. As those properties produce income, you funnel that income back into the stock market. As those stock market assets increase, you continue to do that same process. You lump off some for a down payment and do the same thing. Get another one. You got more income now. Bam. And as time goes on,